Almost half the world's wealth is owned by just 1% of its population. The rest of us, we're competing for what's left. Why do some countries flourish while others remain trapped in a web of poverty, corruption, and unemployment? And how do successful people behave differently from the rest of the population? Today, I'm going to share 3 real-life anecdotes that help shape my opinion on wealth, success, and opportunity. Hi, my name is Niranjan. I have nearly 20 years of professional working experience. I've lived in 7 countries, traveled to 60. I've seen everything. I've worked on noisy foundry and factory floors, and I've been a part of high-stakes boardroom discussions. I've seen the world from many angles, and through this channel, I hope to share some of it with you. Please do stay for the entire video because I'm going to share with you some of the bloopers that happen while producing this video. So first, what does it mean to be rich? To some, it's just numbers, but wealth can be created and it can also be eroded very quickly, as we know. Fortunes can be built, but they can also be destroyed. To me, people who are truly rich aren't just temporary custodians of wealth. They are people who can create wealth, who can grow it, and who can keep it sustainable for a long period of time. It's even growing for them when they're sleeping. If you haven't already done so, please do hit that subscribe button. It really helps the channel. Thank you. Back in business school, one of the first classes I ever took was an Intro to Business class. Class was taught by Professor Nichols. Professor Nichols asked us on the first day, why are some countries rich while others continue to stay poor? To discuss this, he went through the 4 factors of production. The first one was land. Well, if land was the main criteria for why some countries were rich and other countries were poor, well, Russia should be the richest country in the world. Russia has the largest amount of land in the world, and they should have been the richest sustainably for the longest period of time. And countries like Switzerland, well, they shouldn't be rich at all. Switzerland is tinier, but Switzerland is still pretty wealthy. So clearly land is not one of the main reasons why a country is rich. The next one is labor. Well, if it was labor, countries like India and China should have been wealthy and rich for centuries, should never have had poverty or any of the other issues they face. Now, of course, with time, those 2 countries have done very well, but history tells us a different story. The third one is capital, or let's say natural resources, machinery, things like that. If it's natural resources, Africa should have been very, very rich. A lot of African countries should have done very well. And the last one is entrepreneurship. Which country promotes entrepreneurship? And the answer, well, there's only one big country I can think of that's sustainably promoted, created, and cultivated a culture of entrepreneurship, and that is the US. Now, that's not to say no other country has done well. But when you think about it, on a holistic level, the US, in terms of size and scale, and the way their economy is performed, I don't know if there's any other country that even compares to it today. I noticed that a lot of you watch my videos, but most of you haven't subscribed yet, so please do hit that subscribe button. I'd really appreciate that. During the middle of my MBA in Canada, I decided to visit Europe for a short trip. And so, before that, I emailed a few of my contacts because I thought, hey, let's meet some old friends. I also emailed my former boss, who was the president of a €1 billion industrial conglomerate. I thought he was a busy man, so I wasn't sure if he had time to meet me. But lo and behold, he did. And we had a chat. It was a very interesting chat because for the first 45 minutes, I was telling him about my life in Canada, about my MBA, the things that were going on, and what was happening. And he was quiet. It wasn't that he was distracted, he wasn't looking at his phone, he wasn't talking to anybody else, but he was quiet. And so after I finished talking, I thought maybe he was bored, maybe he thought I was blabbering, and so I kept quiet. And then there was this awkward pin drop silence for about 15 seconds. And then he cleared his throat, and then he said to me, quickly summarize the discussion, or quickly summarize what I had to say in about 2 minutes. And then he gave 3 proposals on perhaps what we could do together. 2 of those didn't materialize, but we did do something on the third one. Now, what did I learn from this very simple discussion? That number one, successful people like him will always want to stay connected to people. Networking is very important for them. Number two, listening. They are very good listeners. They listen more and they speak less. And number three, they are always looking at opportunities to collaborate or to do business. In a discussion, they're always looking at different ways to do things. Because their logic is very simple. If they try 10 different things, maybe one or two may work out. If they only try one or two, well, the probability of anything working out is very little. During COVID-19, companies had massive issues. Supply chains broke, demand skyrocketed for certain products, and some companies shut down. As the head of procurement and supply chain for the company where I worked, I pushed for something different. Penalty clauses for late deliveries. Our company was looking to expand our production hall, mainly because we had increased demand, and to do that we needed a lot of machinery and various equipment to run the production. It was very important to ensure that this machinery came on time to meet the demand from our customers. Now, one option would have been, okay, let's be passive, let's order the equipment as quickly as possible, and let's hope for the best that equipment comes on time. Well, we couldn't afford that. So what did I do? I ensured that every time any of the buyers in my department ordered machinery, it came with a penalty clause that if there was any delay, the buyer would pay a penalty. Now, the goal wasn't to try and make money on the penalty, but the goal was to ensure we had things delivered on time. The result? Well, one or two suppliers even told me later on, the issue wasn't so much the penalty, but it was more the bureaucracy or the internal issues they would have in their company to pay out the penalty than the actual penalty itself. And as a result, material, machinery for us was prioritized. The lesson from this, be proactive, don't be reactive. This can make a big difference. There's no guaranteed formula to get rich, but here are some ways to ensure that you do have a better chance of trying to get there. Number one, have an entrepreneurial mindset. That can make a big difference. Number two, be a great listener. 3, be humble. Humility can really go a long way. Number 4, look for ways to collaborate. Collaboration and the number of doors you try and open really can determine the probability of your success. Number 5, be proactive rather than reactive. Oh, the microphone fell. I lived in... Bloopers! What are your views on all this? I'd be really curious to hear from you. Please mention in the comments below. I'd appreciate that. Thanks for watching. Look forward to seeing you on another video. Bye!